This is KGW News at Sunrise.
And good morning. Thanks for getting up with us on this Sunday. I'm Tim Gordon. This morning on Sunrise, the investigation as 2 people were shot and killed in the Beaumont-Wilshire neighborhood. Neighbors shared their concerns with us. Plus, after 2 years of remote working, city employees are being asked to return to downtown Portland offices, but the request is getting major pushback. And before we get to all that, let's check in with Daisy Caballero for a quick look at our Sunday forecast. Daisy.
Good morning, Tim, and good morning to our viewers. As we are wrapping up our weekend, we are seeing 39 degrees in the Portland metro area. This is kind of going to be the start of a trend that we are all going to see clear through this week into next weekend, and we can all thank this big low pressure system. It's actually really hitting central California more, and we're kind of just getting the tail end of what that system is bringing. But as we're looking a little bit closer to home, as you can see here, we're not seeing a whole ton of activity. Again, expect to see some passing showers. So if you are driving early this morning or planning to within the next 30 minutes, hour, 2 hours or so, expect to see maybe light showers, but again, nothing too significant. Current temperatures right now, we're seeing those 40s and 30s, 39 again here in the Portland metro area, 33 down in King City. Forest Grove, you're at 36. And really everyone is dealing with these cooler conditions. And again, this is what we can expect for the most part for the majority of this week. Your day at a glance, again, expect to see some more passing showers, mainly just in the early morning hours. In the afternoon, it will kind of just fizzle out, but we'll talk more about that 7-day forecast, Tim, coming up.
All right, Daisy, thanks very much. Well, it was a busy night for PGE crews. Nearly 3,000 people lost power in the Sylvan area. PGE says this outage was caused by a tree falling on a power line, along Northwest Barnes Road and West Burnside. And as you can see, crews had to shut the road down near that downed line. A home on Northeast Killingsworth caught fire last night. As you can see in this video, the first and second stories of the home were burned. Portland Fire and Rescue got to the scene shortly before 9 o'clock. We don't know if anyone was home at the time of that fire. Well, basketball star Brittany Griner is getting treatment in a Texas hospital this weekend. She was released from a Russian prison this week after nearly a year in custody. She was released in exchange for a notorious Russian arms dealer who was in U.S. custody. But not part of the prison swap, Paul Whelan. Whelan is an American businessman and former Marine who has spent 4 years in Russian custody accused of spying, something Whelan and the U.S. government deny. We spoke to Oregon Senator Ron Wyden about this. Wyden is on the Intelligence Committee, and he says the administration is not giving up on Whelan, but Russian President Vladimir Putin would not budge on this deal.
Putin is always about power and muscle. I think he felt that he could go as far as the release of Ms. Griner, but we have to recognize that Mr. Whelan has got to be free as well. You know, they say for the holiday, the best thing you can have is freedom. She's got it, and now Mr. Whelan's got to be able to get it too.
Wyden also spoke about the death of American journalist Grant Wahl, who died while covering the World Cup in Qatar. Wahl's family is concerned foul play may be involved. Wyden says the U.S. government is asking questions, but Wahl also reported being sick with a severe cold this past week, so the senator says it's too soon to know what happened. Regardless, he called Wahl's death a tragedy. Well, 2 people were found shot to death in the Beaumont-Wilshire neighborhood in Northeast Portland. But investigators say they are not looking for any suspects. Alma McCarty spoke with neighbors, shocked and saddened.
Police spent the better part of Saturday investigating in this Northeast Portland neighborhood after a call came in just before 9 a.m. What officers found when they arrived here was 2 people dead in a home.
Crime tape and patrol cars surrounded this house on the corner of Northeast 37th and Alameda Street. As detectives and officers went in and out of the home, neighbors mingled near the scene, curious and concerned. Investigators found the bodies of a man and a woman shot and killed, but said they aren't seeking out any suspects.
I was shocked because, they're both elderly and with things happening in all the neighborhoods. It was a little bit shocking.
Cindy Newcomb lives just down the street and says the couple who lived here were beloved by many.
They've lived in the neighborhood as long as I can remember. I've been here over 25 years and they've lived here. Used to see them outside quite a bit. She liked to garden, and they used to have Basset Hound dogs. That was always the breed they had.
Several people who knew them told KGW the couple's health appeared to be declining, and one of them was likely suffering from dementia.
She seemed to not recognize people that she used to know, so it's kind of, sad.
At this time, details about what led up to this shooting are limited. Police ask anyone with information about the deadly incident to contact detectives as they continue to gather and analyze evidence. In Northeast Portland, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Well, Washington County Sheriff's deputies are dealing with shoplifting this holiday season. They caught half a dozen shoplifters at a Beaverton Target on Friday. Washington County deputies teamed up with store employees for the sting. Authorities watched people as they shoplifted or engaged in other criminal activity. And after 8 hours, they arrested 6 people and recovered illegal narcotics. That includes 35 oxycodone pills, which deputies say likely contain fentanyl. Well, this week, Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler announced that nearly all city employees will be required to work in person at least half the time starting next spring. It is an attempt to bring more foot traffic downtown and restructure city government. But the plan is getting some pushback in this new remote working world. Bryant Clerkley reports.
The Portland building houses most city workers and office meetings. 60% of city workers are back working in person. 40% are working in person 1 day a week, and starting in April, they'll all have to work in person at least half the time.
I mean, it's expected. Before the pandemic, we were in the office full time. So I think people just need to get used to coming back to the office. I see it as part of business.
It's not a big deal for me. I mean, it's, they've got the building, it needs to be used. We work for the citizens.
A recent study found 68% of Americans prefer remote work over in person. 83% say the shift to remote work has been successful. 49% of remote employees have returned to the office full time as of this year. Prior to the pandemic, nearly 3,000 city employees worked in downtown offices. In the last 2 years, there's been noticeably less foot traffic downtown.
We've gotten really used to being at home, a lot of us. There's a lot of people in where I work, they've been out here the whole time, so it's probably not going to be a big change for them.
I think it's inevitable, and a lot of people have been away for quite too long, and I think, there's probably a need that has been determined by the leadership.
Mayor Wheeler says some jobs will be fully remote, like customer service or people who process billing statements. But for everyone else, the general rule will be half-time.
We toyed with 20 hours, but we realized some of our employees work shorter work weeks because they're different types of employees. But half-time.
Some city employees say they've been doing just fine working remotely.
We've been working fairly efficiently, more than fairly efficiently, for a number of years this way. And so it seems to be a slap in the face.
In a statement, the City of Portland Professional Workers Union says many city workers have successfully worked from home for more than 2 years. Some would like to continue doing so, while some may prefer going into the office. But constituents do want a say when it comes to flexible schedules. In Portland, I'm Bryant Clerkley, KGW News.
Well, pop-up shops are back for the holiday season in downtown Portland. And they come at a critical time. Bryant Clerkley just mentioned foot traffic is down in the city center. The Portland Business Alliance, in fact, reports it's down 40% compared to 2019. That's why the Alliance sponsors programs like these pop-up shops. Each of the 7 pop-up shops are set up in vacant space in downtown buildings. 80 businesses are selling their merchandise this year.
It's been a great experience to actually have my own pop-up space. I've been doing markets ever since I started Matisse, and it's nice to take a step back and relax and actually be in a heated space and be able to expose the city with our designs here.
Well, the pop-up shops are open Tuesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. through the end of December. Well, inflation is making it harder and harder to find that perfect gift this holiday season. Coming up next, we talk budgeting and how to make sure that you don't break the bank before the new year.